The Book of Syrach, Chapter 18. He that liveth without beginning and end, made of naught all things together, God alone shall be justified, and he dwelleth a king, unovercoming without an end. Verse 2. Who shall suffice to tell out his works? Verse 3. For why, who shall seek the great things of him? Verse 4. But who shall tell out the virtue of his greatness? Either who shall lay to foretell out his mercy? Verse 5. It is not to make less, neither to lay to, neither it is to find the great things of God. Verse 6. When a man hath ended, then he shall begin, and when he hath rested, he shall work. Verse 7. What is a man, and what is the glory of him? And what good, either what is the wicked thing of him? Verse 8. The number of the days of men, that been commonly 100 year, been arreted as the drops of the water of the sea, and as the stone of gravel. So a few years in the day of everlastingness. Verse 9. For this thing God is patient in them, and sheddeth out on them his mercy. Verse 10. He say the presumption of her heart, for it was evil. And he knew the destroying of them, for it was wicked. Verse 11. Therefore he filled his mercy in them, and showed to them the way of equity. Verse 12. The merciful doing of man is about his neighbor, but the mercy of the Lord is over each flesh. Verse 13. He that hath mercy, and teacheth, and chastiseth, as a shepherd his flock. 14. Do mercy, taking the teaching of merciful doing, and he that hasteth in the domes thereof. Verse 15. Son, in goods give thou not plenty, and in each gift give thou not heaviness of an evil word. Verse 16. Whether dew shall not kill heat, so and a word is better than gift. Verse 17. Lo, whether a word is not above a good gift, but ever either is with a man justified. Verse 18. A fool shall upbraid sharply, and the gift of an untaught man maketh iron to fail. Verse 19. Before the doom make thou ready rightfulness to thee, and learn thou before that thou speak. Verse 20. Before sickness give thou medicine, and before the doom ask thyself, and thou shalt find mercy in the sight of God. Verse 21. Before sickness make the meek, and in the time of sickness shew thy living. Verse 22. Be thou not ledded to pray ever, and dread thou not be justified till to death. For why the meat of God dwelleth without end. Verse 23. Before prayer make ready thy soul, and nigh thou be as a man that tempteth God. Verse 24. Have thou mind of ire in the day of ending, and make thou in living the time of yielding. Verse 25. Have thou mind of poverty in the day of abundance, and the need of poverty in the time of riches. Verse 26. From the morrowtide till to eveningtide the time shall be changed, and all these things been swift in the eye of God. Verse 27. A wise man shall dread in all things, and in the days of trespasses he shall flee from uncunning, either sloth. Verse 28. Each fell man knoweth wisdom, and to him that findeth it he shall give knowledging. Verse 29. Witty men in words also they did wisely, and understood in truth and rightfulness, and besought in proverbs and domes. Verse 30. Go thou not after thy covetousness, and be thou turned away from thy will. Verse 31. If thou givest to thy soul the covetousness thereof, it shall make thee into joy to thine enemies. Verse 32. Delight thou not in companies, neither in little companies, for why the sinning of them is continual. Verse 33. Be thou not mean in the striving of love, and something is to thee in the world, for why thou shalt be envious to thy soul.